everybody, and welcome to another behind-the-scenes kind of episode. Kind of just making these to kind of just show off a little bit behind the scenes as to the little bit of the road to my Fallout fan film that I'm making for my home state of Nebraska, as Matt already know, and just a little bit of an update and some behind the scenes to some props that I'm working on. As well as an update on to the progress right now. I guess I want to start with the fact that I guess in order to kind of really highlight how I want this to not really end up being a pump and dump, if you will, and kind of really grasp that Nuka brake lens, I'm actually transitioning to where it's actually going to be. I'm actually going back to a little bit of where I started because a little bit of long story short. When I kind of already started all of this, you might have already talked about it real quick. Want to get this out of the way. There is no script to this. I'm just kind of talking right now. I don't really kind of plan to script anything like this or anything because it just seems pointless to me because I'm kind of just busy trying to work on the fan film and all that. But back to what I was trying to say. Originally, this kind of all started out as a bit of an audio drama as to what happens to certain NCR deserters and about part of the group that was originally sent into the Divide as to what a part of their purpose was, not just to be help set up a supply line, but also locate certain items. And I kind of wrote it that there was a group of them that accomplished what they were after, but as we all kind of know, things went to hell, and yeah. But they kind of just made it out, and basically because they were, well, what I wrote was born originally in Nebraska, they wanted to basically go back home to where they were from because... long story short, their parents had basically moved and they themselves growing up ended up becoming desert rangers and just didn't care for the whole NCR and all that. But like I said, I'm going back to my ground area where I kind of started with this whole Lee Emerald thing basically because that NCR thing kind of sat on the back burner for a while, and then I really wanted to actually kind of start looking at it through a Noir lens as to just kind of like they were already here in Nebraska from the beginning, you know, and that's kind of where my idea for Lee Emerald came in. And he's basically a hybrid, kind of like how Preston Harden's Walter Camry is, because Walter Camry from True Vault Escapades is actually based off of the novel character as well as radio show character Sam Spade from The Adventures of Sam Spade, which is a really great detective audio drama and novel if you ever either get a chance to either read one of the novels or listen to the radio shows. They're really awesome. And with mine, he's actually based off of another detective character, which is actually goes by the name of Richard Diamond, who is actually a detective based out of New York, and I really liked the character, his dry sense of humor and all that, and I felt like that was very fitting for a Nebraska detective in that noir setting of the Wasteland. And it's also kind of funny enough because when you kind of look at the characters, they're kind of a yin and yang, because the original character that played Richard Diamond on the radio show, Dick Powell, had dirty blonde hair and blue eyes, as to where you have me, who's portraying, I can't talk very well sometimes, where you have me, who is playing my character, Lee Emerald. I have dirty blonde hair, except I have green eyes. So it's kind of a cool little bit of a yin and yang thing going on. But another thing as for part of the update is I was able to finally actually get directed to an artist. One of my cast members that I've got right now actually directed me to a artist on Instagram, and I have never had Instagram in my life, and this was the first time I actually ever made an Instagram account, and reaching out to that person was kind of, I'm not gonna lie, it was a little bit scary because I was honestly worried that I wasn't gonna be able to find someone that quickly, because I mean, to be able to have someone that can help make some of these posters for some of this artwork that I need to kind of help sell the bread basket scenario, which is what the Midwest and areas like Nebraska were basically responsible for during that era in the 2070s, especially during the Great War. Uh, so it's really actually nice to actually have a real human artist finally to work on the project, and actually not have to lean on other things, because I am an independent filmmaker, and a lot of this is basically coming out, it's all of it pretty much is coming out of my own personal pocket. I mean, I do plan to set up a Patreon, but that is further down the road. I don't want to start something like that too early and not really have everything kind of all put together right, because I mean, I just don't understand how some of that stuff works. And again, I am just right now one person kind of just trying to cover everything, and between working on the scripts, which I realize I trailed off a little bit. Those, like I said, have actually been kind of fun, because I'm going back to where I kind of started for this character, Lee Emerald, which was supposed to be an audio drama series, and I'm now trying to rework these scripts actually into a live action series scripts. And I've got about 5 episodes that I'm trying to turn from audio drama noir to live action. And that's actually kind of interesting and fun in a sense, but also a bit of a headache, because I mean, it's basically then now I'm trying to basically get certain scenes in my head to play out, and it's making me rethink a lot of the scenes, because in a sense, I'm kind of doing this like the director and actor Zach Finfrock from Nuka Break, who played Twig. And right now, trying to convert these it's not that it's difficult, it's just it's taking some time, and I want to have basically all 5 episodes converted to a live action script for all 5 before like we start basically filming, so that basically I have these episodes ready to go, and as soon as I get everyone basically all gathered together, we can all just hit the ground running, and like I said, start basically doing it. And it's not just these 5 episodes that I've already got kind of I've already got one of them already hashed out and ready, and right now I'm working on the second one. And it's not just these 5 episodes right now I currently have that I'm working on converting. I also have some other future ones that are separate, that highlight different aspects and different parts that I really want to work on too. But I also have to remind myself to stay focused right now on what I'm currently working on, because it's easy to get ahead of yourself, especially when you're a solo independent filmmaker and head cook and husband, and just trying to juggle all of that together with this solo. It's not easy. And right now, like I said, I am getting a bit of a crew gathered together, and right now I just, like I said, want to get all these scripts converted and ready to go, so that we can just hit the ground running for filming, and then just kind of go as it is through everything. And that's kind of also got me to where, spoiler alert on this one, one of the things about the first episode is that I was entertaining is because of the fact that I'm an independent filmmaker, and this is all coming out of my own budget, my own personal pocket. I'm really trying to, like I said, go for practicality on a lot of props, and with one of the creatures that I've actually got in the first episode, which is going to be a Brahman, again, spoiler, when things do get moving, don't be surprised if that one ends up being just a regular old cow. And that's one of the things that I'm actually trying to highlight on, and that we know mutations or radiation can cause mutations, but we also know that there has been that rare factor of uh, there is still that rare factor of a Brahman or a cow being born with one head. I mean, it's not unheard of. It's just in the wasteland, it's rare, and that's going to be kind of like one of the highlighting parts of this first episode. Is that's what makes this Brahman that this person wants back basically so rare, and uh, that's mainly not like the whole highlight of the episode or anything. That's just to explain a little bit of the reason of why you guys in the future might end up seeing for something like that a basic cow, because it's not that I don't want to use CGI, it's just making sure it's right. And not gonna lie, CGI is not cheap. Uh, and another thing is like I really want to stick to a lot of practicality when it comes to props, and I'll kind of point that out here in a minute when I get to what I'm working on right now. And it's not just with things like this can, which will be part of my demonstration here in a minute or so. But it's also around the fact of I really want people to like be able to like see these props in their physical form and actually look at them and go, that that is real, and that has got weight, and that is that real rust? And the reason I bring something up like that is because I really want to make it look, these props not only have weight to them, but also have presence. Because basically, like, I want them to feel like someone reached into the Fallout universe, pulled something out, and then it's like, bam. And like I said, that's one of the things that I'm going to highlight on here in a minute, but give me one sec. I actually have to go get a bottle of water because my mouth is getting kind of dry, and I did not bring a bottle of water out here with me, so I will be right back. Okay. And I'm back. Hopefully I didn't take too long. One sec. Just want to put this Pure Kick Hydrate packet in here. Orange cream pop. Interesting. Never actually. Ooh. Never had this flavor before. This smells good though. But basically, I want my props to have, like I said, I want them to basically cast their own presence. Like, when people look at them and pick them up, they're basically saying, hey, I'm no children's toy and I'm no hunk of plastic. I am 100% real, and it took time to make me. And one second. Again, my mouth is dry. It is a dry day today. Ooh. Oh damn. That is really good, actually. That is really good. But as I was saying, go ahead and get to the demonstration here. Now this is basically one of those props, like I said, just a greasy Prospector pork and beans can. Well, a can with a greasy Prospector pork and beans label. But you'll notice, if you can see in there, it's got a lip. And that lip is actually part of what I'm using this can for. And as you can probably see, if I put up some images here, of basically what I made. And yeah, except this is a mock version, I guess you could say. But and yes, it is functional. Let me go ahead and remove this pin. I love that. I do. I love that. Oh wow, that actually set that in place pretty good. Wow. But still. And this is basically what I am referring to. Let me go ahead and try and... Oop, that is not going to work very well. Hold on one second. I'm not going to be able to set that very easily. But basically, as you can see, it's a mechanism from a Nuka Cola quantum grenade from Fallout 3 or New Vegas. And basically, I followed the design that this person made this top one basically here. And I'll get to the reason I have this bottom one here as well. But one of the things that that person did on theirs was basically they used a lathe to make, again, I'll grab this here, this part right here that sits on top of, or, well, the bottom, as he has it, of the can to make sure it doesn't like go through it. It has access for this plunger to go down with this spring. And real quick, just a little backstory on the spring. I actually got this, salvaged this spring from an old airsoft gun. I just had an old spring-loaded M14 lying around from when I was 14 years old. And it was already busted, so I just tore it apart and took the spring to save a few bucks. And the bolt is basically a 99 cents rivet that was all threaded all the way. I actually filed half of it so the rivets wouldn't interfere with the sliding mechanism when the pin was removed. And you can actually get rivets that have a smooth shaft that are like this, that have a small area that's threaded like this, which is what the person that made this one up here did. But to get this part here, he actually had to machine this, and he used a lathe. And I was actually entertained and actually loved the idea ever since I saw that video about 7-8 years ago. And I've always wanted to make my own, and as you can see, I finally have. And I wanted to share a little bit of how I did that, because this is actually one of the props I actually want to have in my Fallout fan film, as well as to a little bit of the reason you're seeing two different ones still right now. But to get that out of the way real quick, basically the reason you're seeing these two variants is on the top, he used hydrochloric acid to get that rust effect, which, don't get me wrong, it's nice and it's effective, but it's also very aggressive. And it's not really something you want to mess with, especially if you don't know what you're doing. And that's where I found to achieve a decent level of rust is I actually used for mine, and I'll show you here in a minute, I'm using vinegar, hydrogen peroxide, and saltwater to basically kickstart everything after I basically ran these cans, which originally looked just like this, through my fire pit, and basically just got a nice bed of coals going, and then just burnt off the lacquer coating on the inside and on the outside, because these food safe cans have a lacquer coating, and that actually, removing that actually helps the rust penetrate a little bit deeper. I don't know if you can actually see kind of right there, there's a red spot right there. I don't know if you can actually see that or not, but it's kind of rusting a little bit, but it's not as to where you would want it. And with his, it's just uh, time is very sensitive when it comes to things like, I feel like, if I'm not mistaken, when it comes to things like hydrochloric acid, because too long, then you just run into structural integrity problems and all this and that. But another thing is you don't get that full-on wasteland look aesthetic. And I just want to really quick point out to this bottom one right here. I mean, it's painted. Come on! I mean, don't get me wrong. I love the enthusiasm here. I do. But it's just, I mean, something like that on camera for me, I mean, doing a fan film, just, it wouldn't work. So that's where, and this person, again, it's nice corrosion, it is, but it's still just, it's not enough that really sells that this was 200 years or so caked on, you know? I mean, and this is a good example one right here. This is actually one I found out at my local scrap pile, which is where you guys might already know that I get a lot of my stuff for a lot of the props that I make. And I don't know if you guys can really see here. Kind of maybe bring the camera a little closer here without making it fall over. But you can just see the level of crust and rust and corrosion to this thing. I mean, this thing legitly looks like it has been through a legit wasteland. I mean, it was just outside because I was actually trying to keep it compared to the ones that I was having outside before it started raining a little bit ago. But you can see just the level of, and you can see on the inside, it's not that old. It's still got a shiny bottom, but just the level of crust and rust. I mean, that's what I'm trying to basically go for with this. And like I said, in order to go from this to, hold on a sec, basically this, like I said, I used a combination of my fire pit after burning off the lacquer coating, hydrogen peroxide, and vinegar to help kickstart it, along with a saltwater solution, along with saltwater as well. And I mean, you could just see, like on this one, kind of just some of the level of corrosion that's building up that just is perfect. And this is another good one. This is actually the one from the original one from the wind chime, which I might actually go run in real quick and actually get that so I can show you guys in the video on what that looks like now. But I actually poked a hole because I already had a hole there, and I'm probably going to use this one for a Nuka Cola grenade as soon as it's done, because it has that lip, that perfect lip for the lid. And I have to get some bottoms actually rusting, and right now I'm just kind of letting these finish. And note, this is only day 3. This is on day 3 of rusting these things, and as you can see right now, this is just me moving along beautifully and great. And I'm gonna go ahead and right now probably speculate another 3 to 5 days, and then they should be ready to basically be dipped in a baking soda water solution, basically water mixed with baking soda to help neutralize the acid, so that it basically stops them from rusting. Because if you go with this method and you don't neutralize the acid, it's going to actually keep eating at it, especially if you're going to end up doing what I'm going to do, which is I'm going to matte clear coat these after they are done and dried and everything when I go to do final assembly for some of these, because I don't want the rust to break off, flake off, or be able to be brushed off easily in any way. And I want them to basically keep that look of, they don't look shiny or anything like that, because I mean, like I said, I'm not against using 3D printed stuff in my Fallout fan film for certain props. It's just when it comes to props like these, stuff like this for practicality, you can't fake. I mean, it just sells that level of immersion. As it is, speaking of props, bringing me back to the one thing I brought up in the beginning of the video real quick about the Brahman. One of the things that I actually got to thinking about is marionette puppets, and it got me to thinking about things like, and this is just a random thought for anyone watching that is a prop maker or a Fallout fan that knows a prop maker that is into Fallout stuff. Kazador kite. And the reason I say that is because think about some of the kites you see out there that are just absolutely breathtaking, not only in their size, but in their complexity of how they were built, like some that look like dragons and all that. Imagine if someone made one that looked like a Kazador. I'm sorry. I already can feel the PTSD creeping up on me if I saw that out in the field one day and it was just a kite. That would still freak me out. I mean, and it wouldn't even have, you couldn't stop just there at a kite. I mean, I'm pretty sure someone out there that has a drone or knows how to work on drones could figure something out like that too, and know how to make something like that. And that's just a weird thought. But back to the one prop. Like I said, for the trigger mechanism itself, I basically, like I said, used a rivet that I drilled a hole in the top part of to give it for this safety pin, so that when it is active, it is technically locked in place. I'm not even going to mess with that for a minute. But to get the part, this part that goes, as you can see, that the plunger goes through for the top of the can, and as you can see, I don't know if you can kind of see that, it's bolted and it's threaded. The original person that made the one, as you can see, that was at the top here, like I said, he machined his. He had a lathe and everything, and he used it to machine it. Some of us don't really have anything like that, and that's where practicality and scavenging comes in. And I actually got my piece off of a lamp, and I used a piece of it which is known as a threaded lamp nipple. Now, this is not exactly the same one, but this is a style of one that I used. As you can see, it's got this fat lip here. Go ahead and hold it close to the camera. I had basically cut it right along top of this fat lip with a grinder, so that the only thing I was left behind was this. So that I had basically put that in the hole of the can, and then bolted it from the bottom, which allowed perfect free range for the bolt that I chose to slide up and down perfectly with ease and glide perfect. And you can pick these up at Amazon, any hardware store, Ace Hardware, Bombgars, Lowe's, Home Depot. I mean, pretty sure, even Walmart, I'm pretty sure. And that's the other thing. There are different styles. I mean, if you're not able to find this certain style, which, I mean, if you don't have access to a grinder or anything like that, you don't have to use this specific style. You can also use, this is another style. This is actually two different styles of threaded threaded nipples, and their diameters are a little bit, this one's a little bit more narrow, this one's a little bit more wider, but you just want something that basically is not too much free room to where it's gonna clank around in there, but to where it's gonna basically easily slide down and not have any friction or catch anything, And that's where, like I said, you can get, and this is not the exact size that I used for this. This is just a reference. As you can see with this bolt, this is basically what you'll be looking for is something like this that has a smooth shaft that goes all the way down to about here, and then the rest of it about like there is just threads. And you'll want that, a smooth shaft section, because you'll want something that basically this won't catch on in this when you pull that pin and then it slams down and that plunger slams shut. But like I said, you can pick these up at any hardware store. Just ask if you have any threaded lamp nipples. And best thing is get the largest ones that they have, or these ones actually, you might find those standing lamps that it's just basically one lamp that stands straight up and it's sectioned with with multiple pieces of tube. I can almost guarantee you those sections that are threaded together are being held together by these threaded nipples. And if you have any lamps like that lying around or find one, well, don't pass it up. And if they seem like they're locked or hard to get out, well, they're most likely just glued in there. And that's where a simple process of taking, and this is where I can't stress this enough to save anyone the trouble and the pain. Just one sec. Mouth's a little dry. It is dry today. I mean, I think we are going to get a storm, so it's sucking up any and all moisture. Use a piece of leather, basically. I think I actually, yes, I actually have a piece right here, lucky enough. Basically, I'm saying is this might only be sticking out about this much on that piece of pipe, but take this piece of leather, wrap it around, and you want some good thick leather, so that when you go to clamp onto this to hold this in place with a pair of pliers, you're not damaging any of these threads, because you do not want to damage the threads, because then that is just going to ruin your threaded nipple, and it's just going to, you're going to be pushed off farther on your project if you do something like this and you find something like that. So use something like that with a pair of pliers to cover this, and then clamp it with the pliers to then get a good grip so you don't damage those threads, so then you can actually back it out right. And this will actually bite into the threads and keep those threads intact way better than going at it with a piece of cloth or bareback, because if you do metal on metal, it's just not going to end well. But yeah, that is how I basically achieved this plunger system for this prop with a little scavenging ingenuity and Wasteland, I guess, grit. And yeah, so that's a little bit of behind the scenes right now of what I'm working on. Like I said, I am still right now currently working on the scripts, just so I can have something together for the whole crew and I and everyone that I get together on this project, just to have to hit the ground running, because I am basically kind of just working on like this right now solo, just trying to get everything all kind of together. And I've like I said, I've already found a small group of people, and I'm just looking for more right now to join the fold and be a part of this. But yeah, I apologize if you guys kind of found this episode of these behind the scenes a little boring. I do apologize, but like I said, there is no script for these. I'm just kind of just showing off a little bit behind the scenes to some of the props that I've been working on, and just a little bit of an update. And I will basically see you guys in the next video.